Essay about Uranus. 1. Introduction. Uranus, the strangest to the ice giant the solar system among all the planets in the solar system. Uranus is one of the strangest, most unusual, and most misunderstood. At first glance, it may seem like a quiet, pale blue-green planet floating silently in the cold outer darkness of space. But behind that scam appearance lies one of the most bizarre worlds ever discovered. A planet that spins on its side has a mysterious interior, unusual season, faint ring, numerous moons, and a history that continues to puzzle scientists. Uranus, the seventh planet from the Sun, is one of the two planets classified as ice giant, the other being Neptune. Unlike the galaxies like Jupiter and Saturn, Uranus contains a greater proportion of heavy volatile materials such as water, ammonia, and methane. These substances, under the extreme pressure and temperature inside a planet, behave in an exotic way that are very different from anything we encounter naturally on Earth. What makes Uranus especially famous is its astonishing altitude. Most planets spin more or less upright compared to their orbits, but Uranus tilts about 98 degrees. This means the planet essentially rotates lying on its side, and this has been knocked over in the distant part. This one feature alone makes Uranus unique and gives us some of the strangest seasons in the solar system. Despite being one of the major planets, Uranus is often overshadowed in public attention by the more visually dramatic neighbors like Saturn and Jupiter. Yes, Uranus is scientifically fascinating. It may help answer major questions about planetary formation, giant impacts, atmosphere physics, magnetic field, exoplanets, and early history of the solar system. This essay will explore everything important about Uranus, its size, color, atmosphere, to season, moon, rings, discovery, structure, and why it remains one of the most intriguing planets in planetary science. Two. What is Uranus? Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun and the third largest planet by diameter in the solar system. Order of the planets from the Sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Uranus belongs to the group of outer planets and more specifically is classified as an ice giant. The two ice giants are Uranus, Neptune. Unlike the rocky planets such as Earth and Mars, Uranus does not have a solar surface humans could stand on. It is a giant world composed mainly of gases and volatile material compressed into exotic fuel state. Basic facts about Uranus: it is the seventh planet from the Sun. It is one of the coldest planets. It rotates on its side. It has blue-green color. It has rings. It has many moons. It has one It is one of the most unusual planets in the solar system. Uranus is a planet that seems quite from the distance, but the more scientists study it, the stranger it becomes. The sign and physical characteristics of Uranus. Uranus is an enormous planet, much larger than Earth, though smaller than Jupiter and Saturn. Important physical facts about Uranus. Diameter about 50,724 km, radius about 25,362 km, mass about 8.681 times 10 squared to the power 5 kg mass, compared to Earth about 40.5 times Earth's mass. Volume about enough to hold about 63 Earths. Uranus is slightly larger in diameter than Neptune, but is less massive and less dense. That means Uranus is large. It spans its world with a relatively low density compared to the rocky planets. If Uranus were much closer to Earth, it would appear as with the most visually impressed in the sky, a giant pale sphere unlike anything humans are used to seeing. For the ocean and formation Uranus, like all the other planets in the solar system, Uranus formed approximately 4.5 to 4.6 billion years ago from the giant disk of gas, dust, rocks, and ice surrounding the young sun. Uranus likely formed through the following process. Tiny dust and ice particles collided and stuck together. They gradually formed larger planets. A growing core attracted more material around it. Uranus developed into a giant outer planet with involuntary compound. Because Uranus formed far from the Sun, it wasn't the reason cold enough for the substances such as water, ammonia, methane to exist as icy during planetary formation. This is one of the reasons Uranus is called the ice giant rather than a gas giant, although the word "eye" can be misleading. Inside Uranus, the materials are not frozen in the everyday sun. Under intense pressure and heat, they may exhibit hard, dense, exhausted fluid state. Science is also interested in whether Uranus may have migrated during the early history in the solar system, helping shape the outer planetary region. Uranus' disposition in the solar system. Uranus is extremely far from the Sun. Average distance from Uranus to the Sun about 2.870 billion kilometers. That's about 90 times farther from the Sun than Earth is. Because its the great distance, sunlight at Uranus is much weaker than on Earth. If you were Uranus, the sun looks like the bright but much smaller point of the line in the sky. Distance from Earth to Uranus, the distance between Earth and Uranus changes depending on orbital position, but it's usually around 2.6 to 3.2 billion kilometers. This vast distance is one reason why Uranus remained undiscovered and planet for so long and why it is still difficult to study in great detail. The discoveries of Uranus has a very important place in the history of astronomy. Although it's technically bright enough to be seen with the naked eye under the very dark sky, ancient astronomers did not recognize Uranus as a planet. It appeared too faint and moved too slowly, so its work often mistakes for a star. Uranus officially discovered planets in 1781 by William Herschel. This was a historical moment because Uranus was the first planet discovered in modern time. Before Uranus, the known planets visible to the naked eye were Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. The discovery of Uranus expanded the known solar system and changed humanity's understanding of how large and mysterious our cosmic neighborhood truly is. It was one of the greatest astronomical discoveries of the 18th century. Seven. Why is Uranus blue-green? One of Uranus's most recognizable features is sharp blue-green color. Why does Uranus look blue-green? The main reason is methane in the atmosphere. Methane absorbs red wavelengths of sunlight and reflects the scatter more blue and green light. This gives Uranus its pale, smooth, bluish-green appearance. Unlike Neptune, which often appears deeper blue, Uranus tends to look more muted and calm, almost like a pastel-colored world floating in space. Its appearance can make it seem peaceful, but Uranus still contains powerful atmospheric processes and deep internal mystery. A day and a year on Uranus had a very different sense of time compared to Earth. A day on Uranus takes about 17 hours and 14 minutes to rotate one on its axis. So even though it's enormous, it spins fairly quickly. A year on Uranus take about 84 Earth years to complete one orbit around the Sun. That means 1 year on Uranus equals 84 years on Earth. So if you were born on Uranus, you will celebrate your first birthday only after 84 years has passed. Uranus rotates on its side. This is the single most famous fact about Uranus. Uranus is tilted by about 98 degrees. This means Uranus is essentially rotating sideways compared to most other planets. Imagine Earth rolling around the Sun while lying almost completely on this side. That's roughly what Uranus is doing. Why is Uranus tilted this way? Scientists believe the most likely explanation is a giant collision in the distant past early in solar system history. Uranus may have been struck by a massive, a larger object, knocking it over. It's still so extreme that it changes almost everything about planets. Season, sunlight distribution, atmospheric behavior, magnetic field orientation. Uranus is therefore just another planet in the world shaped by catastrophe. The strange season of Uranus because Uranus until so markedly experienced some of the strangest seasons in the solar system. What happened during Uranus season for long periods of time? One pole points almost directly at the Sun, while the other pole points into darkness. This means each pole can experience about 42 years of continuous sunlight followed by 42 years of darkness. That's one of the most extraordinary seasonal patterns of any planet. On Earth, seasons change every few months. On Uranus, they can last for decades. This makes Uranus a fascinating natural laboratory for understanding long-term atmospheric and seasonal planetary changes. Does Uranus have a surface? Like Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune, Uranus does not have a solid surface that humans could stand on. If you descended into Uranus, you would move to a layer of gas and dense fluid instead than landing on ordinary ground. A spacecraft entering Uranus would encounter upper atmosphere, cloud and haze, increasing pressure, dense fluid layer, extreme cold in upper region, then much hotter and more compressed material deep down, so although Uranus is often shown as a smooth sphere, it's actually deep layered and exotic world with no normal surface in the Earth-like sun. The internal structure of Uranus scientists believe Uranus has a layered internal structure. Uranus contains 1. Outer atmosphere, this visible outer layer where cloud and weather exist. 2. Mantle and thick deep layer resin. Water and ammonia methane, this material is believed to exist unusual high pressure from rather than as ordinary ice. 3. Core, a central reason likely matter. Rocks, metal, that's a heavy element. One of the most fascinating ideas about Uranus is that deep inside, under immense pressure, carbon from methane may separate and potentially form diamond rain. This idea remains scientifically complex even until under investigation, but is one of the famous and practical concepts associated with Uranus and Neptune. Uranus atmosphere. Uranus had a thick atmosphere mainly of hydrogen, helium, methane, and molecules. The gases are also present. Its atmosphere appears smoother and less dramatic than Jupiter or Neptune at first glance, but that does not mean it is active. The atmosphere of Uranus contains cloud, haze, wind, seasonal changes, storm, chemical layering. Although recent Uranus were once thought to be relatively calm, more modern observations have revealed that it can be more dynamic than earlier astronomers realized. Weather on Uranus. Uranus may not be as stormy looking as Jupiter or Neptune, but it still had interesting and powerful weather. Weather features on Uranus include high altitude cloud, strong winds, storm, seasonal atmospheric changes, banded structure in the atmosphere, wind speed on Uranus can reach several hundred kilometers per hour. Its atmosphere also changes with the season and solar angle, meaning the appearance of Uranus can shift over time depending on where this is its long orbit. Because Uranus has such extreme season, its weather is influenced in unusual ways that scientists are still trying to understand. 15. Temperature on Uranus. Uranus is one of the coldest planets in the solar system. Other average temperature about minus 224 degrees Celsius. That makes Uranus in some measurement even colder than Neptune. Despite Neptune being farther from the Sun, this is one of the reasons Uranus is so scientifically puzzling. Why is Uranus so cold? Scientists think it's maybe because Uranus emits less internal heat than expected compared to other giant planets. Unlike Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune, Uranus seems to give up relatively excess internal energy. Why this happens is still not fully understood. This makes Uranus one of the most mysterious planets in terms of thermal physics and planetary interiors. Uranus' magnetic field, strange and mystery. Uranus has a magnetic field, but it's very unusual. Unlike Earth's relatively center and aligned magnetic field, Uranus' magnetic field is strongly tilted opposite from the center of the planet, irregular in structure. This makes Uranus atmosphere highly strained and asymmetric. A scientist thinks this may be because the magnetic field is generated in unusual region of the planet's interior rather than in the simple central core. This great magnetic field adds to Uranus' reputation, one of the most physically present planets in the solar system. Does Uranus have rings? Yes, Uranus does have rings. This surprises many people because Saturn is the planet most famously associated with rings, but Uranus also has a ring system. Uranus' rings are dark, thin, narrow, difficult to see. They are made mostly dust rocky material, dust particles. These rings are not nearly as bright, particularly of Saturn, but they are scientifically important because they help us understand ring formation, moon ring interaction, radiation dynamics. Uranus brings another layer of complexity to this already unusual planet. Uranus' moon system. Uranus has many moons, and several of them are surprisingly large and scientifically interesting. One special charm detail that many of Uranus' moons are named after characters from the works of William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. rather than after birth from the classical mythologies like many other planetary moons. Some important moons of Uranus include Titania, Oberon, Umbria, Ariel, Miranda. Each of the moons has a unique geological and historical significance. Titania and Oberon. Titania is the largest moon of Uranus. It has large fault system, impact crater, icy terrain, evidence of geological change in the past. Oberon is another large moonwatch, a dark icy surface heavy cratering is a geological feature. These moons are important because they preserve clues about the history of the Uranian system and outer solar system more broadly. Miranda, one of the strangest moons in the solar system, is one Uranian moon stands out especially bizarre it is. Miranda is famous for having one of the most unusual surfaces of any known moon. Why is Miranda so strange? Because its surface looks like a patchwork in the different terrain, which giant cliff strange seismological region, sign of intense past disruption. One of the most famous features is the massive cliff system that may be among the tallest known in the solar system. Scientists think Miranda may have been started in resemble in distant part or at least heavily reshaped by dramatic geological events. This makes Miranda one of the most visually and scientifically fascinating moons in the solar system. Could Uranus is moon supposedly? If we are talking about Uranus itself, the answer is almost certainly no. Uranus is far too extreme for life we understand it because of no solid surface, extreme cold, crushing pressure, hostile atmosphere. Its moons are not currently considered among the strongest candidates for life compared to places such as Mars, Europa, and Saturn. However, Uranus and its moons still scientifically valuable because they help scientists understand icy worlds, planetary evolution, possible subsurface processes, the diversity environment in the solar system. So while Uranus is not a primary target, it is still deeply important to planetary science. Voyager 2, humanity's only closest to Uranus so far, only one spacecraft has visited Uranus up close. Voyager 2 in 1986. Voyager 2 flew past Uranus and gave humanity its first close look at the planet. Voyager 2 revealed the planet's atmosphere, its ring, its moon, its magnetic field, important detail about its two-inch structure. Without Voyager 2, Uranus would still be largely mysterious. Even today, much of the way we know in detail about Uranus comes from the single flyby, which shows just how underexplored this planet remains. Why Uranus matters to science? Uranus is extremely important to the science, even though it's often overlooked in popular discussion. By studying Uranus, scientists learn more about planetary information, diamond impacts, unusual rotation, ice giant atmosphere, magnetic field generation, ring system, moon evolution, exploring planets. Uranus is especially important today because many planets discovered around other stars are thought to be similar in size and type to Uranus or Neptune. That means understanding Uranus helps scientists understand not only our own solar system, but also many worlds across the galaxy. Uranus and actual planets is modern autonomy. Uranus is important because it serves as a model for a very common type of planets far beyond the solar system. Many exoplanets discovered so far are believed to be Uranus-like, Neptune-like, mini-Neptunes, ice giant analogs. This means that Uranus may represent a whole class of worlds that are extremely common in the universe. By studying Uranus, scientists can better understand atmospheric chemistry, giant planets evolution, heat flow, planetary migration, interior structure of medium-sized giant planets. So even though Uranus is distant and often overlooked, it may actually be one of the most relevant planets for understanding the broader universe. The future of Uranus exploration. Scientists strongly believe there is much more exploration in the future. Potential future mission could study Its atmosphere, internal structure, magnetic field, seasonal changes, rings, moon, possible deep chemical processes, a dedicated Uranus orbiter could revolutionize our understanding of the strange world. Because Uranus is so underexplored, almost any serious mission that would like to produce major discovery. Many scientists consider Uranus one of the most important unfinished chapters in the solar system exploration. Conclusion: Uranus is one of the most unusual and fascinating planets in the solar system. It is worth the pale blue-green color, strange chemistry, hidden storm, faint rings, icy moon. As one of the most dramatic asteroids still ever seen on a planet. Its spin sideways experience, its decades-long season, and whole mystery that scientists are still trying to solve. At first glance, Uranus may appear quiet and simple, but in reality it is one of the most scientifically rich and puzzling worlds in our cosmic neighborhood. From its historic discovery by William Herschel to revealing flyby of Voyager 2, Uranus has continually challenged human assumptions about how planets are supposed to behave. The more we study Uranus, the more we realize the solar system is not just a collection of ordinary worlds. It displays extraordinary diversity, countless accidents, and alien beauty. Uranus teaches us that even strange worlds have important stories to tell, and we have only just begun to listen.